Hey guys, it's John, small time reseller. Some weeks come and go. Actually, pretty much all weeks come and go. And when they come and go and I have managed to sell some books, I'll come here and tell you about it so that you might, see the book out there somewhere and be like, think that would sell? And oh yeah, that one guy on the internet's there who showed that he sold it. So that's what I do. I don't do any videos at garage sales. No GoPros at the Goodwill bins showing my hands jubilant with maggots half buried among the sweet peas. Just me telling you what I sold this week. And this week I got my list right here, 8 items, 7 books, and 1 not a book sale. And so we're going to go through them, and I'm going to pop them up here because I know how to do that now. So it all started off back several days ago when I sold A Natural History of the Sonoran Desert. The Sonoran Desert would be much nicer. But the Sonoran Desert, that went to a buyer in Indiana, sold for $16. So that was a Goodwill Bins in Lake Jackson buy. And so that turned 50 cents into $16 right there. Shortly thereafter, I sold this one. Lekavod Shabbos Kodesh. Infuse your Shabbos with love, meaning, and joy. This is the kind of book I like to pick up. Something pretty out there, something you're not going to find everywhere, something that somebody might see and be like, ooh, hey. And so that's one of these. This one went to a buyer in Michigan, and I sold it for $20. So I thought that was pretty good. It did sit for, probably had it a couple months before this one sold, but it's one of those that I figured it would. But it was a nice book, and it did eventually sell for $20. Hey. The next one I sold was one of my wife's books. She had a bunch of crochet books, and she had to really, to get to the crochet books, she had to move piles and piles of fabric and other things from the sewing room and to get back to the shelf and crack it open. So that's how little she is. So I managed to convince her to sell those. And so I put a bunch on. I've only sold a few of them, but this is one that did sell. It's called Crochet That Fits, and it sold for $7. And that went to Maryland, of all places. Then my one not a book sale this week. So several months ago, I think I mentioned this a few videos back, but several months ago I bought at the Goodwill Bins when I first went there, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just kind of looking around, and I paid $7 for some human hair. And it sat around creeping out my wife for quite some time. These are hair extensions. And $7, and I sold those for $30. I had them up for quite a bit more. It's been lower in the price. They finally did sell for $30, and they went to Mississippi. So then back to the books. So I'm really not going to buy them anymore. Not a books. It's pretty much stick with the books, unless I see something like signed glasses that I managed to sell before. But the next one is this one, Contextualizing America's Past. Looked like an interesting book. This went to a buyer here in the great state of Texas, in El Paso, Texas, for $40. And I thought this one would sell. I think it's a textbook from, University of Texas at El Paso. So I'm not surprised that it went there. And then this was a pretty big one. Not a big money maker, but a big book. And so I was always glad to get the big books off the shelf, make more room for new ones. This is the Thomas Keller Library, the Bouchon Bakery, and this sold for $20, and it went out to California. So I had to find a big box. This was such a strangely shaped book. It was almost a perfect square, and it was a big one. So I ended up with a really big box, and I had to really fill it with a lot of just bubbles and paper, and I did get a positive feedback on it. So said that it must have gotten there okay. The next one is, this one is a pretty rough condition, it was as acceptable, and I did denote the problems. Is NIV Thompson Chain Reference Bible, and there's the name written inside that they had blacked out, and the gutter on the title page was really deep. You could see the spine, but other than that, it was in pretty good shape. But those first few pages were pretty rough looking. I had it at 30, had a couple of watchers on it. I sent it an offer at 25, and one person took it. So $25. That also went to California. And then the last book I sold, Tribal Bigfoot. I kind of wish I could be able to keep this one a little longer, so I was curious what it was about. I have no idea. But it had a cool title, had a cool look. Tribal Bigfoot sold for $30. For a paperback, that was pretty good. And that went to Missouri. So, I think I added it up and now I can't remember what it was. 193 maybe? So 8 items for $193 this week. It is Friday, so tomorrow I am going to go and hit the Goodwill bins and the bin drop and restock some things. And hopefully this time next week I'll be able to make another video. Tell you what sold this week. So hope you guys had a good week. Been enjoying watching everyone's videos, and I hope to see you sooner rather than later. Adios.